going to talk about the nugget.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the nugget, Renee, was question was, with God, what's God been teaching you to teach? Sorry, what's God been teaching you that can teach us? So He's teaching me, which is time. Time to forgive the people who has hurt me. Oh, I'm sorry. I also jotted it down and wrote it down because I was at work and I was thinking about it all day.
You're doing good.
To figure out how to think what God's been teaching me. So it's forgiving people and not to rush into things and waiting for His time. And always make time for Him in your daily basis. I'm always busy, so I still try my best to make time just to be around Him with Him. And anywhere, anytime, that's what I feel like I can make time for Him. Even pray. Pray is also His time, is He, in your sickness and health. I also did a Bible verse on time. I can't pronounce the name, but it's chapter 3 and 11. I'm going to read the verse, but it's, I'm sure you guys will know once I
What book are
read
you
it.
in, Devon?
Huh?
What book are you in?
Spell it. It's ECCLES.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
That's a hard
That one. Yep, that one.
So the verse is, He has made everything beautiful in its time. He also has set eternally in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done for him, beginning to the end. And that's my nugget.
Look at that. That's so good. That's so good. So Devon, I have a question for you. So in your daily routine, what is the best time for you to spend with the Lord, and how can you encourage us to do the same thing?
So I'm busy during all day. So my time is nighttime, right before bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Does nighttime work for anybody else? When do you do time with the Lord in the evening?
Yeah, just as I'm laying over to go to sleep.
Yep.
And I remember when my husband was still alive, he would come to bed, and if I was still awake, I could hear him praying, just very quietly to himself. He would kind of mumble. I never could understand what he was saying, but that was his time to pray before he went to sleep.
Good.
So you said it's time to forgive people.
Mm-hmm.
Has He shown you who to forgive? You don't have to tell me names. I'm just asking. It's a general question.
It'll be more of an impact if you do.
You better forgive Howdy.
Add him to the list.
There's 3 people that I have to forgive.
Okay.
2 I have not yet,
Okay.
but I forgave the one. I'm slowly. It's a process of forgiving.
Sure it is. Yeah.
I'm not going to say a name,
Yep.
but in my life, we don't talk no more.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it was an ex-husband
Okay.
of 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't all the way forgave him for the things that he's done, but it's still in process.
Good.
Amen.
It's a start.
Showing
That's very
me.
good.
And he's showing me to forgive him.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the
You'll
other
be
2?
set free by it.
The other 2 are not saying names.
Yep.
Come on.
Some of you will know if I'll pronounce what they are to me. So it's not my stepdad, it's a stepdad and girlfriend.
And you're in the process of forgiving them also?
Trying. I keep hearing more things and it's making me more angry with them. But I'm sure God will show me that you should forgive and whatever they're doing.
Amen.
Forgiveness is hard.
Can I add on?
Yeah.
Years ago, this guy's a CPA, and he came and did this. We had a little living room thing. He did some teaching, and he had trained this guy to do the CPA stuff, whatever. Well, then this guy, I don't know what happened. They had a falling out, and this guy blamed him for whatever, and so he felt like the Lord told him that he had to go and forgive. And so he told this other guy, and it was a whole process. But what he did was the Lord told him he had to write it all down, because when you get in there and you get in the heat of the moment, then you couldn't say, I forgive you for doing this to me. It had to be his part in whatever, so he couldn't mention the other person. So he wrote that all down so that he would have it correctly and wouldn't get all flustered and whatnot. So he tells this guy, and they set a date or whatever, so he's coming to this guy's house, and he has people over his house to basically watch this guy grovel at his feet. Yeah.
That's just wrong.
So he gets to this guy gets to the door. He opens the door. The guy, he collapses, and he asks him to forgive him, and I don't even think he even got in there to say his part of it. The guy, repented from all his. So they reconciled and all that, but. And then in my own life, I have my niece. We went all the way down to Florida to see her. She was having her baby and all this stuff, and her husband was like those super clean people. Like totally the engine in his car looked cleaner than anything in my house. And he was just, everything was picky. And so we have 4 people in this one little bedroom, and he came in and he goes, "It's really dirty in here," and he would say, you only take 1 shower per day, and I was like, what are we doing but sitting around the house? So there's all this stuff, and whatever the last thing he said, we actually got up and left in the middle of the night, because I was done with it. So we were estranged, my niece and I, and our family. And so remembering what this guy taught us, I'm like, and there were 3 people I had to forgive. One was a friend from home, one was my father, and then my niece. Well, my friend and my father were in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, so I wasn't going up there. So I just forgave them, as the Lord would forgive, But my niece, I had to call her, and I thought, what am I going to say? Because I really didn't feel I did anything. So, because every morning in the shower you're forgiving them, and then the next morning you're going, the shower, So you knew it didn't work. So I didn't necessarily write it out, but what I did was I called her and I asked her to forgive me for our part in the situation. That's all I said to her. And she goes, "I'm so glad you called. We've been talking about it, and this and that, and I'm so all this sorry stuff." And I thought, if I hadn't done that, today we still wouldn't have been, But it was just how the Lord worded it, and then. The other person, comes out and, says their part of it, which was the same with the other guy, which, it offers forgiveness for both sides, actually, in reconciling. So I don't know if that helps you maybe to write stuff down, if you want to say stuff, and then, because, there's always all this residual stuff out here, and it gets longer and longer, and you can't hardly talk about it because your face turns red and you start snotting up, and, it just doesn't work as well as if you could be calmer and just go for it.
Sometimes you just need to crack the door open a little bit.
Yeah, and the other person, they know most of them know what they've done.
Yes, Ellen.
I think I know who the 2 people are.
Oh my God, you knew he would do that.
I'm not gonna say who they are. I have one question.
Sure.
So you have the stepfather and the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Has the stepdaughter forgiven the stepdad and the?
Yes, she has.
Okay. So if she has, and it has directly, she's for all intents and purposes, she's the victim, and these 2 are the perpetrators. If she has forgiven those 2, why would we not forgive those 2? If she can do it, and she's the one who they did it to, because I know it's very common. If someone hurts mom, I'm hurting right with her.
Secondhand offense.
Yep.
Secondhand offense. If someone hurts Leanne,
She's not always the only victim too.
right?
Yeah.
But she was the one who's more
Directly
in
involved.
direct line of fire.
Yeah.
If she can do it, then I know that we can do it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say who it is, but I know.
Yeah, he's happy.
Yeah, a little sleuth over there.
Yeah.
So just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean you have to go back into a relationship with that person.
Yeah, right.
It's just that you're releasing yourself from holding on to that unforgiveness, and you're set free by it.
No, amen.
Yeah.
And that's very important because I know people that say they've forgiven and I know they haven't, and they're miserable.
And I realized there was one
They are
when I gave
miserable.
myself to God, there was one person that I did forgive,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like a total process. And
Yeah,
that was my mom.
it is a process.
Yeah.
It's a
It is
huge
a process.
I did forgive her,
Mm.
and that's a big process.
Awesome, yeah.
I think it's important to realize too that Jesus forgave us.
Yeah.
And if we don't forgive other people in our lives, like that pretty much makes us void of heaven. Like if we can't do what
Right.
Jesus did for
Yeah,
us,
that's
and
what he says. That's
Right.
what the word says.
what's the parable of the king and the
Oh,
two
the
people who he loaned money?
To, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
he the king owned one servant like a huge gazillion dollars amount of money, and the king the guy came and said, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, and the king forgave him. And then another servant came to that other servant who also owed him money, and that servant
he
who
owed
just
like 20 cents.
the comparison is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
And,
And he wouldn't forgive him.
Right, and the first servant wouldn't forgive the second servant. He just
demanded
said
his money.
demanded his money and had him thrown in jail. So, like, if we're that first servant, God forgave us $1 million gazillion dollars, and then we go and hold some small offense over, a stepdad or an ex-husband or whatever, like, we're destined for hell because we're still holding on to sin.
That's good.
I've heard stories of people that don't just forgive somebody that's murdered their child, but they go to the prison to visit and to win them over to the Lord. If they can do that,
Yeah, then what's our excuse,
I
right?
have a negative go off of that. Forgiveness isn't always meant for other people. It could also be for yourself too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But like to forgive yourself.
Yes, that's
And
That's the
I would
hardest thing to
add
do,
that
so-
sometimes you think that you forgive, and then there are so many layers. I'm still learning through this.
Sure.
Like you say, oh, I forgive them, and then
There's
why is it still there?
Well, it's just like in the movie The Shack that we watched. You might have to do it 1,000 times, but you just keep doing it. until-
You mean forgive 1,000 times, right? You have to
Yes.
just do it every day.
Yep.
70 times 7. We counting.
Howdy and I were talking about this last week too. When if you can forgive somebody, like how do you know that you've forgiven? How do you know you've been healed? Like if you can talk about that person and start remembering the good times, or talk
Face
about
doesn't turn
things,
away.
and you're not getting all emotional, like angry or sad or whatever. Like if you can talk about that person and like be good with talking about that person, then you're probably healed. But if you still get upset, if you still get angry, you got a little bit of work to do still.
Part of the
I'm sorry, Valerie.
part of the conversation in the shack was you can still be angry and upset with something that happened, but you still forgive that person.
Oh yeah, it doesn't ever forgive the sin or the consequences of what happened.
Well, yeah, I heard something the other day about that in reference to, for example, where we're at in the world conditions today, and the fact that, it's just not going to stop. So you turn around and say, the evil that's projected against you today is going to be continued tomorrow. So when somebody says, look, the hate that you have for what's happened to your life, etc., how do you feel about that? And he says, I don't use the word hate. I don't have hate. I just pray for the other person to change their ways. That's all. In other words, to move on, pray for the way, and all of this really, we all have individual cases. Everybody's personal issue is more different than the other individual. I carry with an individual for forgiveness to try to, I can say I forgive, but I'm going to get slapped in the face tomorrow. and tomorrow. So why am I trying to say I'm forgiving? Because what, it's going to stop? You're not going to stop. You're going to be worse. You know, if I forgive you, you turn around and look at it. You're an idiot, and you slap me harder. And I turned around. I tried it, and I said, "Not going to go there anymore. Not
Yeah.
going to go there anymore."
There's definitely a point in a relationship where you say, okay, now I got boundaries. Now we're all done, and I'm moving away from you so I don't get hit
Walk away
again.
from it, you
Right.
know. I used to tell patients, take the problem, write it on a piece of paper, put it in a drawer, close the drawer, and don't open it. Once it's in that drawer, you don't see it. And if you look for trouble, you go open the drawer. Just ignore it. And it works for a lot of people that way. Because you wrote it down,
Yeah,
you
you
put the
get it
problem
out.
down, put it in a drawer, it's away.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. But, you know, if you're going to dwell on it, then you're going to have depression and you're going to have anxiety.
Yeah.
But
You got something, Danielle?
Yeah, actually.
Go ahead.
Does have a negative.
So last week, Hattie asked the question, the difference between being taught and being trained.